Good morning. It is currently 7:30. Brandon and I are actually headed to the San Diego Flea. It's actually called Kobe Swap Meet, and once a month they do like a vintage market the last Saturday of every single month. So they have a lot of the really cool vintage clothing vendors and stuff like that. So this is like our favorite time to go because we usually find such cool stuff and we can find everything for such a good deal as well. We are on the way to pick up Miss Rachel because she's coming with us, but by the time we leave her place, it'll probably take us what? An hour and a half to get to the Flea? An hour?
Hour and a half.
We woke up at 6:15, so we're both tired. I hope you guys enjoyed that cute little shopping montage. Brandon and I love flea shopping, thrifting. It's one of our favorite weekend activities to do together. I feel like him and I both are very much into fashion and we love finding really unique pieces, and with vintage shopping, thrifting, you just can get stuff for such great prices. So it's just an all-in-one great activity. Today we're gonna talk all about flea markets, some of my favorite flea markets in LA, and some of the tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. So before we go ahead and dive into the video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Also hit that little notification bell. That lets you know every time I post a new video on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You definitely don't want to miss out. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. A couple of days ago, I actually went to Kobe Swap Meet, and this is a flea all the way in San Diego. This is about a 2.5-hour drive from me and Brandon, so it is a little bit of a drive. But we had some friends that we are going with, so we wanted to make a whole day trip out of it, and there's a lot of really good food in Orange County as well. The reason why we do like going to it from time to time is on the last Saturday of every single month, they do like a big vintage market, so they have a lot of vintage resellers. You find a lot of really cool clothing vendors and stuff like that on the last Saturday of every single month. So especially if Brand and I are busy on a Sunday and we can't go to like a normal flea, Kobe Swap Meet, their big like vintage market is always a great option. And so we did go last Saturday and we picked up a couple of t-shirts. Brand and I go thrifting, flea shopping so often now that I feel like I don't have really big hauls anymore because I only need to add a couple of things to my closet. You know what I mean? I can be a little bit more picky with what I want to buy. If it's not a good price, I don't really need it. So this haul is a little bit smaller, but you'll find that the more that you shop and the more you go thrifting, the more selective you start to be, which isn't a bad thing. So anyways, one of the things that I picked up is this like race car tee, and I just thought that the color is really cool. The graphic is really striking, and I actually have a lot of black vintage tees. I specifically wanted more white ones, but I just didn't see a whole lot of like really cool white graphic tees that were different than what I had in my collection. But I really did like this one. I've been really into the race car graphics lately, especially because they're so easy to wear, and I feel like if you're not huge into a band, you don't love the Harley Davidson tees that are like everywhere, race car tees are always great, and I do think that the graphics are always super cool. And then this is the back of it. Actually ended up getting this for around $25, which is a really great price, especially because if you go to Urban Outfitters, a graphic tee is like $60 and everyone and their mama has it. You know what I mean? So super unique, super great price, and it is really, really big as well. All of my big oversized tees, I usually buy anywhere from like a large to an extra large just because I really love that oversized fit. And I do have a styling video all about how I style my tees. I'll go ahead and link up in the eye. And then second tee that I picked up is this one here. Brandon came up to me and he was like, babe, do you want a shirt that says Japan on it? And I was like, sure. So he like ran back to the vendor and brought this back, and it's just a white tee that says Japan on it, and there's a little graphic right here that says it's from the 94th World Cup, which I guess is kind of cool. Back here also says Japan. Super cute tee. I'm obsessed with Japan. I went there a couple of years ago and I feel like I've never stopped talking about Japan. So this is just a good, cute little tee. I don't know if I'm like crazy about the graphic because it's a little bit aggressive, okay? But I think it's a cool tee and it's super cute that Brandon thought of me and thought I would really want it, so. I'm gonna talk about some of my favorite LA fleas. So our number one favorite LA flea market is the Melrose Trading Post. And listen. Before you roast me, okay, I know this is like a really common flea market. If you live in LA, you've probably heard of this flea market. So many people go to it, and the reason why I love it so much is because it's a really good size. There's a lot of vendors there, and they sell all sorts of things. You can find furniture, candles, jewelry, bath and body goods. You can find food, plants, vintage clothing, like really anything that you want and can need, they have it there. But the only thing is, since it is such a heavily trafficked place, things are a little bit more expensive, but I do like that it's so easy to get to. We almost always find good things there. You just have to be willing to pay a little bit more. The Melrose Trading Post does happen every single Sunday, which is nice. Some of the fleas I'm going to talk about only happen once a month. I consistently find really good things there. I used to buy jewelry there all the time, and you can find a lot of really good vintage tees, jackets, jeans, whatever you're looking for. But again, things are a little bit more expensive, so you'll have to be willing to pay a little bit more for that. Usually a vintage graphic tee will be around $50 to $60 on average, and used denim jeans will be anywhere from like $70 to $80. So it's a little bit expensive, but if you don't want to drive anywhere super far, you only want to pop in for a couple hours and you just want to find a couple of cute things and you want it to be super easy breezy, we love the Melrose Trading Post. Favorite of all time, and the only reason why it's right below the Melrose Trading Post is it recently has been getting really expensive. Let's just say right now it's tied for first place, but it is the Pasadena Rose Bowl. It's on the second Sunday of every single month. So it recently reopened for the first time since COVID, and it was so crazy. I think because it was the first time reopening in so long that everyone and their friends and their cousins and their followers, it was bustling and hustling, and I felt like the prices were way higher than normal because the vendors like knew the demand was so high, so they increased the prices. Anyways, I do love the Pasadena Rose Bowl. Brandon and I go there all the time. It's big, so if you go, be prepared, wear comfortable shoes, bring some extra tote bags, and be prepared to spend some money. Melrose Flea Market probably has around 50 vendors, and I feel like the Rose Bowl has like 400 to 500. So I could be completely wrong, but that's just like what I envision when I think of it. It is massive. It takes place in the Rose Bowl football stadium, and it's like every single little like aisle, parking lot, whatever, is filled with vendors, and they sell everything that you could imagine. There's vintage mirrors, furniture, basket, clothes, jewelry, like antique things that you might not like think you would ever be able to find. Like if you specifically want like a jade green elephant that's eating grapes, you go there, you could probably find it. If you want like a vase shaped like a naked woman's body with dried flower arrangements, you find it there. Everything you can imagine, you can find there because that place is huge. Okay, so those two are tied for first. My next favorite is Kobe Swap Meet. This also is a flea market that happens every single Sunday. This is the flea that is in San Diego and was the one that I was just at. Every single Sunday is just a normal flea market, but on the last Saturday of every month is the vintage market that I was talking about. So a lot of the really cool like vintage sellers, vintage clothes, vendors will all be there on the last Saturday of every single month. It's really great if you're specifically wanting like some really cool tees or really cool pants and you're willing to make the trip, or if you live close to San Diego, I think it is definitely worth it. You have to go at least one time just to know. You know what I mean? And I feel like so many people fly in specifically for these type of fleas, and if you live in LA, it's just a couple hours drive, you know, you can make a whole day out of it. We did it with some friends, had some really good Vietnamese food on the way home. The only thing about Kobe Swap Meet is I feel like sometimes it's really hit or miss. Like this time, I only bought 2 tees. If Brandon didn't buy me the Japan tee, I would have just left with the one. Prices are also super reasonable. It reminds me a lot of the Pasadena Rose Bowl. Pasadena Rose Bowl and Kobe Swap Meet, I feel like are kind of on the same level, whereas Melrose whereas Trading Post, the prices are just a little bit higher just because it is so central to so many people. Next favorite flea of ours is the Long Beach Antique Market. This one, like the name suggests, is in Long Beach. So it's about an hour away-ish from LA. So it's not super far if you want to go somewhere like outside of the LA fleas, but you don't really want to go to San Diego. This is a really great flea market. It happens on the third Sunday of every month, but it does have a lot better furniture than it does clothes. I just feel like whenever I go there, I don't really find a whole lot of clothing. So if you just bought a new home or you're just looking for more decorations for your house, the Antique Market in Long Beach is a great place to go. Brandon and I have been there, I think probably once or twice now, I don't even remember, and I have picked up a few clothing items from there as well. So it's not like they don't have clothing, they just don't have as much as the other fleas I talked about before. Finally, the last flea. This is like the last LA flea that I've heard of, that I've gone to. This is the Santa Monica flea. This happens every single Sunday and it's at the Santa Monica airport. I've gone to this one a couple of times and it kind of is just all over the place. There's a couple of parking lots that are like next to each other, but like it's kind of spread out and really far away. So it's not like a traditional flea market where you go in and there's just so many freaking vendors there that you kind of lose track of what places you've been to and not. The one in Santa Monica is just a little bit more spread out, so I feel like it gets a little bit boring. I haven't really found anything there when I've been there the last few times. Also, if there are any other LA fleas I haven't mentioned that you really like that are like in the vicinity, let us know down in the comments. We're always looking for new places to go. I also heard that there's a Silver Lake flea market that I have not been to yet, but if you guys have been there, do you like it? Let me know down in the comments down below. So those are some of my favorite LA fleas. Let's talk about some of my tips and tricks for flea markets. Number one tip that I can give that I've learned over the years of going to so many flea markets is you have to know exactly what you want or some type of idea for what you're looking for, because if you don't go into a flea market with that in mind, I feel like you'll just be looking for so long, almost like aimlessly looking, and most of the time you end up leaving with things that you didn't really want or need, slash sometimes you leave with nothing at all, which is like the worst feeling, especially if you go out of your way to go to a flea market. I always have something in mind that I was looking for. So last weekend when we went to the Kobe swap meet, I knew I wanted some oversized graphic tees and flannels. A couple of months ago, I was looking for Carhartt pants. So as long as you know exactly what you're looking for, some gold jewelry, maybe a specific type of sweater, a certain color. If you go into a flea market knowing exactly what you're looking for, it's gonna make your life so much easier. Number two tip that I have is to barter. Be willing to negotiate the pricings with vendors. It's important to not lowball anyone because then it's just disrespectful and stuff like that. But a lot of the vendors are willing to be really flexible on their prices and they almost expect you to do so. Some vendors will be really firm on their pricing, which is totally fine, but it's always worth a shot, you know what I mean? Like Brandon and I at one point were looking for some really cool Porsche things for Brandon because he is a really big Porsche guy. So we found this super cool Porsche tee after literally spending months looking for Porsche things, and this vendor was like, we asked him how much it was and the guy was like $10 and I was like, $5? And the guy was like, sure. But meanwhile, Brandon and I would have been willing to probably spend like $30 to $50 on the shirt because we've been looking for so long. But whenever someone gives me a price, I almost always will go back to them and negotiate, just because if you can save a couple dollars here and there, you'll pretty much end up getting an item for free. I have no shame. I'm always looking for deals, okay? Number three tip, be prepared. Get there early, wear comfortable shoes, bring tote bags, bring cash, bring snacks, especially if you're going somewhere like the Pasadena Rose Bowl. That flea market is just so big. You don't want to be miserable wearing shoes or clothes that are uncomfortable. And also if you have like a reusable tote bag, it's just super easy to put all the things that you buy into that bag. If you have cash, a lot of the vendors don't accept credit card or PayPal or whatever, so it's just easier if you carry cash. And most of the times it's so much easier to barter as well, especially because if you hand a vendor cash, it's hard for them to say no, you know what I mean? So that's another trick. A lot of these places also don't really check your bag when you're going in, so I'll usually pack a tote bag with some snacks, some fruit, a bottle of water always, because especially recently has been getting so hot, so you just want to make sure that you're always prepared. I always wear sneakers because I know I'm going to be doing a whole lot of walking and I wear sneakers on the daily anyways. that brings us to the end of this video. I hope some of the tips and tricks were helpful. I'll go ahead and link all the flea markets I talked about down below, as well as some helpful information. But that is all for today's video. If you want to see more videos like this, if you want to see more flea thrifting vlogs, let me know. Thumbs up this video, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!